Hello, good day, BSc first years. So, this will be the second lesson for our fourth module with the title School as an Educational Organization. So, for the second lesson, we will discuss the reforms in the Department of Education. So, we will discuss what are the important points, like all of the Republic Act, and what are the improvement of our educational system here in our country. So, all of that, we are going to discuss it. Okay, so now let's start. Okay, so when the trifocalization of the Philippine educational system took place in the early 90s, technical vocational education and training and higher education were separated from basic education. So, as we all know, we have Commission on Higher Education, and it was approved by the virtue of Republic Act 7722. And then we have here the TESDA, or Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, which was given by the virtue of Republic Act 7784. Okay, so these two were created. So the mandate of the Department of Education, Culture and Sports, we have the DEX, was then refocused to the basic education, which covers elementary, secondary, and non-formal education, including culture and sports. So during 90s, the Department of Education was known as the Department of Education, Culture and Sports. So the basic education includes elementary, secondary, and non-formal education, which includes also culture and sports. So in 2001, we have here the Republic Act 9155, or otherwise known as the Governance of Basic Education Act, which was passed in transforming the name of DEX to DepEd. Again, there is a Republic Act 9155 that transforms the names of DEX to DepEd. And also, it redefined the roles of its offices from national level down to the school level. So, the Republic Act 9155 provided the overall framework for school head empowerment by strengthening their leadership as well. The school-based management within the context of transparency and local accountability. Okay, so by the virtue of 9155, culture and sports related functions, programs, and activities were transferred to other relevant government agency. So, as far as I know, the culture and sports were transferred to these agencies. Komisyon ng Wikang Filipino, and then National Historical Institute. Of course, that's for culture. Record management and archive office and the National Library. So all of that agencies are previously under DepEd, but it were administratively attached to the National Commission for Culture and Arts, or NCCA. Okay? So all of the culture related under DEX before was transferred to NCCA. Again, that is National Commission for Culture and Arts. Okay. So next we have the sports competition. So it was also transferred to Philippine Sports Commission. So while program for schools, sports, and physical fitness activities remained under DepEd, of course, we have the physical education, right? So of course that is under DepEd pa rin. However, when it comes to the national level of sports, it was under the Philippine Sports Commission. Again, kapag kay culture, nalipas siya kay NCCA, which is National Commission and Culture and For culture and the arts, and then for sports, we have Philippine Sports Commission. Okay. So, given its mandate, the Department of Education has initiated many reforms that have significantly contributed in the improvement of the Philippine basic education system to provide every Filipinos with education they need to compete in global context. Okay. So, there are like four different reforms that has greatly contributed on our educational system, but I will just discuss only one. Okay, and that is the enhanced basic education. Okay, so according to the Senate Economic Planning Office, on 2011, the Philippines, together with Djibouti and Angola of Africa, are the only three remaining countries in the world that retains 10-year basic education system. As we all know, recently lamang tayo nagkaroon ng senior high school, and that is like a very very big factor. Why do Filipinos are not like globally competitive? Kasi nga, 'di ba, most of us ay aware na nito lang talaga nagkaroon ng K to 12, and this one is very very important. Okay. So, the Senate Economic Planning Office articulated that the continuous deterioration of the quality of education in the Philippines, despite of the constitutional guarantees, has prompted the Department of Education to push for the implementation of the K to 12 program. And kayo yung product nun ngayon. So, it entails the institutional of the kindergarten and the additional 2 more years of the high school and the basic education cycle. So, as we all know, kindergarten is mandated right now in our educational system. It is a must. Like, for me, kasi hindi naman ako product ng uh, enhanced basic education. I am a product of BEC, the basic education curriculum. So, during my time, 3 years old ako nung unang pumasok ng school. And I was nursery that time. Parang ano siya sa, hindi siya daycare eh. So, nursery yung tawag dun. And after a year, I transferred sa public. And I already passed the examination for grade 1. So, hindi siya naging mandatory sa akin noon. But now, it is clearly mandated. So, there are lots of factors that we need to consider for a child to get in the kindergarten. Like, if I'm not mistaken, 7 years old with the birthday of January up until July or August. I am not very familiar with that one. Okay. So that will be discussed by the group number one for the group activity. Okay. So for the additional 2 more years of high school, like most of you ay product ng senior high school. So we have different ano naman, we have different tracks, and that will be discussed by group 3. Okay? So, the following are the issues that influence the implementation of the K 12 programs highlighted by SECO or Senate Economic Planning Office. Okay, so of course, hindi naman maaaprobahan ang pagkakaroon ng K 12 program sa ating educational system kung wala silang nakitang mga problema sa ating bansa. Okay, so first, we have net elementary participation rates have declined from 90.1% in 2002 to 88% in 2010. Okay, so fewer children of school age proceed to high school and an even smaller number pursue college education. Okay, so we are all aware that there are lots of out of school youths in our country. Maybe because there are lots of factors that, let's say, for example, financial problem, family problem, and everything. Okay. So that is one of the issues highlighted by Seco, that there is a need for us, like, to enhance our skills. Kasi nga, 'di ba, if I'm not mistaken, I am not very familiar with this one. Correct me if I am wrong. So, sa senior high school, you are taught of the skills that you can use for your job. And then also, you are given the chance to have the national certificate certified by TESDA. Okay? And after completing senior high school, you can now find your job because uh all of the subjects are actually skill based. Correct me if I am wrong, that is what I know. Okay? So I think that will be very helpful for students. If they are going to finish senior high school, they can find a job because they are highly skilled already. Okay. Next, access to education isn't equal, with the poor having significantly lower participation rates than the non-poor. Okay. So this is all about stereotyping. It is very unequal. Like, if you are rich, you can have a very conducive um classroom learning style, right? And if you are poor, that parang kasi 'di ba, we all know sa public, like, hindi naman lahat ng nag-aaral sa public ay poorest of the poor, right? So, we can see some of the students, hindi talaga sila financially blessed. But, I don't know, there are unequal treatment. That is why we need to stop stereotyping. Next, third, efficiency is a problem as manifested in the still high, albeit declining dropout school leaver rates. So there are lots of dropped out students. So maraming mga problems like financial problem, family problem, ayan nga, or sa kanila na lamang, like they have mental health problems. Okay. So I have encountered a lot of students dropped out in my subject, and their reason was they cannot afford the educational system that we have right now. They cannot afford the internet, the basic needs for online classes. Okay, so that is a very big factor too. Next, the result of functional literacy, education, and mass media survey, or the FLEMS, so show that the out of school with ages 6 to 15 years old do not attend classes mainly due to lack of personal interest, high cost of education, and too young to go to school. Okay, so this ages 6 to 15, there are lots of factors kagaya nga ng mga sinabi ko kanina na maaaring maging dahilan nila sa pagtigil sa pag-aaral. Next, low score in the country's national assessment test. Okay. So we have a lot of national assessment tests. We have the NAT and SAT and Kai. So there are a lot of national assessment tests that will assess what are the capabilities of the students. Next, the result of international tests such as Trends in International Mathematics and Science Studies, or TIMSS, show that the Philippines is among the worst participating countries. Okay, so the SECO thinks that these six issues are very important to highlight because This says it all. Kung bakit kailangan natin na K to 12. Kaya nga 'di ba, sabi natin, we need to be globally competitive. Paano tayo magiging globally competitive if the educational system that we have is not the same with the educational system that other countries have? Okay? So, SECO added that the deterioration in the quality of education was attributed to the 10-year basic education cycle. As such, the government exerted effort to address the issues by attempting to increase the number of the years in basic education. So, nagkaroon nga tayo ng K to 12. However, such idea was opposed by students. Maraming students and parents since additional years in school will entail additional expenses for parents. Kaya nga 'di ba nung nagkaroon ng K to 12, marami talagang nagreklamo or kumwestiyon dahil nga paano masasagot or may ahon sa kahirapan ang kanilang pamilya kung dadagdagan pa ng 2 pang taon ng pag-aaral? 'Di ba nga madadagdagan ng 2 taon, madadagdagan din ng 2 taon ng paggastos ang mga magulang kaya marami ang kumwestiyon. Perhaps due to lack of information regarding the benefits of having a longer years of basic education, wala silang magagawa. Okay, because this is already implemented. So, there are many compelling reasons why the Philippine government push the enhancement of basic education system. So, in an article published by K-12 Philippines on 2005, there are 6 reasons highlighted why the Philippines should shift to K-12. And these are the following. First, the Philippines is the only country in Asia with a 10-year basic education. And then next we have poor quality of education and then too many non-practical subjects. That is why from now and then our curriculum ay nagbabago. It is modified according to the needs of the students and that is very important. Next, not prepared for college education. Okay, so there are lots of students na hindi pa ganong ka-prepared to enter college education. Like, their line of thinking is just like for high school students. And then too young for labor force. Um, Usually, college graduates age uh 19 years old or 20 years old, so they think that this is too young in getting jobs or being employed, and then no global recognition. Okay, so I think right now we have products of K to 12 curriculum. We can now be recognized globally. Okay. So finally, in 2012, Republic Act number 10533, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act, was passed institutionalizing the K-12 curriculum, which added kindergarten and 2 more years of senior high school in the basic education program. Okay, so the following are the salient features of K-12 highlighted by DepEd. Okay, so first, strengthening of the kindergarten in the Philippines. It is very important to strengthen the kindergarten level. Why? Because this is usually the first step of entering the school ng mga bata. Dito sila natututong magsulat, dito sila natututong magbasa, dito sila natututong makipag-socialize sa kanilang mga kaklase. That is why we need to strengthen this one. Kaya nga, dito nasusukat kung gaano naging kahusay na guro ang kanilang mga magulang. Dahil nga dito nasusukat kung gaano kadisiplinado ang mga bata and dito din masusukat ang mga magulang kung gaano sila karesponsable sa pag-aaral ng kanilang mga anak. Next, making the curriculum relevant to the learners. This is what I am talking about earlier, that the curriculum should be in line with the needs of the students. Building proficiency, like we should have fluency, we should have proficiency in every subject that we are taking. Ensuring integrated and seamless learning. And the next one, gearing up for the future. Of course, we need to nurture holistically developed Filipino. So the goal of the K to 12 basic education program is to prepare Filipino students for tertiary education and in the field of work by providing those with enough time in basic education to master skills and of course develop competencies that will enable them perform better when they decided to go to the field of work. Kagaya nga 'di ba nang sinabi ko kanina, like, sa senior high school, you are taught with the skills that you can use in the near future if you want to find a job. Kung ano man yung field of work na gusto ninyo. Okay. So that ends our discussion. Now I will discuss what are you going to do with the group activity. Okay, so the direction is like your class will be divided into three groups. So, yung grupo ninyo ay ibibigay ko by Monday kung sino-sino ang magiging magkakagrupo. And then each group will choose their presenter. Pwede isa hanggang dalawa. That will explain the given topic. Okay, so the given topic are the reforms. Ito na yung tatlo pang kasunod, which are institutionalization of kindergarten. So you have to discuss the salient points. And then mother tongue based multilingual education. And then lastly, senior high school. Of course, so senior high school, you will discuss what are the academic tracks. Why do you think senior high school is very important? Okay? So, paano po mangyayari ito? You are going to make a short video, a 20-minute video discussing all the salient points of these reforms of Department of Education. Okay, so like let's say for example, may Google Meet tapos nandun lahat yung members and then you are going to present, of course PowerPoint presentation is a must, and then pwede nyo hatiin into two ang discussion, isang presenter para dun sa unang discussion, isang presenter para dun sa pangalawa. But there is a need for everyone to be present doon sa recorded na video. Okay, so for long quiz on November 30, ang coverage po ay buong module 4. So that is school as an educational system, and then this one, reforms ng Department of Education. Okay? So if you have any questions, you can just send me a message in our group chat and I will answer it right away. So I hope that you learned something today and have a good day. Thank you very much.